15-minute video for just kind of overall fitness. So here we go. I'd like you to sit as tall as you are able to in your chair. Feet are rooted down on the ground. And then grow as tall as you're able to in your torso. We're just trying to get the best breathing we can possibly get by having as much space as possible here. Okay, let's warm up our necks a little bit. We'll drop the chin towards the chest. And then we'll draw a few smiley faces or half circles. All right, chin back towards chest and lift your head up. Let's take a few shoulder circles. Take your time here. That'll allow you to really get into some nooks and crannies as opposed to just going really fast. And I invite you to pay attention to your shoulder blades. Those are big bones that kind of float on your ribs in the back. So we want to think about lifting them up, those shoulder blades. We're going to draw them together. We're going to lower them down and spread them apart. Let's just do that a few more times. And maybe take the circles the opposite direction. All right, come to stillness, shake out your hands. Maybe you shake out one foot at a time. Lower down, bring your palms out in front of you, face up, arms out in front, bend your elbows, lightly touch your shoulders. We're gonna think about drawing those shoulder blades towards one another in the back, and you might feel a stretch right around here. And then we're going to draw the elbows towards one another. Those shoulder blades are gonna spread apart. Another way to look at that would be, imagine you're squeezing an orange between your shoulder blades in the back and then letting it go. Last one, squeeze and let go. Lower your arms down. We're gonna work on a little bit of core stability here. So, and by your core, I really mean your whole torso. So everything between your neck and your pelvis. All right, so we're gonna just sway a little bit. So you can imagine your seaweed in the ocean, or I'm not much of a lake person, but whatever it is that floats in a lake. So a little bit side to side. Hands are on your thighs. All right, you can continue to do that, or maybe you let your arms dangle and sway. This is a little bit more challenging because you don't have the support of your hands on your thighs. You can always return them if this becomes too much. All right, now what's it like if you take your arms out side to side? Just sway a little bit. I'm gonna run out of wall here. If it feels okay, maybe you stretch a little further. Sway a little further. All right, come to stillness. This time, turn one palm up and look towards that palm as you lean towards it. Then turn that palm down, look towards the other arm, turn that palm up and reach. We're adding a little bit of brain work here. All right, lower the arms and give everything a nice little shake. All right, let's warm up our spines a little bit here with some cow-cats. I invite you to take your feet a little bit wider if you're able to. It's okay if you can't. And really root down through those feet. If you find that your knees are up here, you're going to want to sit on top of something so that you're at more of a 90-degree angle with both your ankles and your knees. Ish. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to come over there with a ruler. If you find that you are sitting up too high, you might want to put something underneath your feet so that your knees are bent properly. You could put a book, you could put a blanket, anything like that. Okay, so we're trying to get, somewhat sort of like a 90-degree angle with our legs. And let's do some cow-cats. So placing your hands on your knees, palms down, let's slide those palms towards your body as you arch your back. And then slide your palms away as you round your back. In the yoga world, this is called cow, and this is called cat. So maybe a couple more. You can connect to your breathing if you'd like. and then sit back up. Let's bring out some cactus arms or goalpost arms, depending on what you prefer. You might already start to feel a little bit of a stretch here. From here, we're going to twist from side to side. Start small. You can always take the twist further as you warm up. All right, so from here, I'm going to gently twist to one side. If this doesn't feel good for your shoulders, you can certainly lower your arms down. The main goal here is to get a little bit of mobility, a little bit of movement, primarily in this part of your spine, your rib cage. All right, come back to stillness. If you want, if you had lowered your arms down, come back to your cactus arms and let's do a little side body flow. So we're trying to stretch right here. And over time, the more you stretch those muscles between your ribs, it can potentially lead to some better breathing. And who couldn't use that? All right, so cactus arms, these are optional. Primarily, I want you to think about tilting to one side. Feel that stretch here. And then, yeah, you're going to feel some compression over here. Come back up and go to the other side. If it feels better to lower your arms down, you can still get a stretch. Might not be as big, but that's okay. Another option would be to bring your arms overhead if you're looking for a little variety. One more time to each side. All right, lower the arms down. Give your hands a shake. Just keep that blood circulating. Kick your feet a little bit. Keep the blood circulating there. All right, now we're going to do a little cat side body flow. So I'd like you to interlace your fingers if you can. If not, you can stack them like this. Elbows are bent. We're going to turn the palms out as we round. Then we're going to bend the elbows, palms come towards us. We release our hands and we reach up and over for a side bend. Lower the one arm down, other arm up and over. We'll just do that one more time. We'll interlace our fingers, possibly turn the palms out, round your back, straighten your arms. Start to bend until those elbows. You can release your hands, reach up and over, up, lower that arm, up and over, up and lower down. All right. Now we're going to do something called stir the pot with our shoulders. So we're going to build onto this. So first I would like you just think about taking one shoulder to the opposite knee and come back up and do the other side. All right. Now we're going to add that stirring of the pot. We're basically going to be taking our upper bodies in a circle. So one shoulder to the opposite knee. Then you're going to lean forward slightly. Draw your shoulder blades as if you were going to squeeze that orange. Then you're going to take the other shoulder to the opposite knee. And you're going to sit back and round like a cat. So shoulder to knee. Squeeze that orange, other shoulder to knee, and round. Let's do that again, but let's try to reverse the direction. Shoulder to knee, round, or arch, I'm sorry. Shoulder to knee, and round. One more. Shoulder to knee, arch your back, shoulder to knee, and round. Great. Give everything a nice little shake. Okay, next up, let's see. I'd like to do some leg work, some leg strengthening, some leg stretching. So we will start, you can certainly hold onto your chair. I'd like you to lift one leg. Doesn't have to be a lot, it's just a little bit. Straighten that leg. Maybe you feel a stretch on the back of your thigh. Lower down onto your heel and slide back in. Let's do that again. Lift a bent knee, straighten the leg, lower down to the heel, bring it back. Other side, lift the opposite leg, straighten the leg, down to the heel and back. Up, out, down, back. Good job. All right, Now a little bit of strengthening those leg bones from a seat. So we're going to start by just grabbing onto the back of one thigh, lifting the foot a little bit, and dropping it. Yeah, it's going to make a little bit of a thud. Now I do want you to pause and see, did that feel okay? If it did, we'll do that a few more times. If it did not, I encourage you to pause here, take a few breaths. Maybe instead you concentrate on just squeezing those thighs, those quadricep muscles, and letting them go for a little bit. Okay, we'll stomp and stomp, stomp and stomp. All right, now let's see if we can do that without the aid of our hands. Just stomp, stomp. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to stomp as hard as possible. I might shake the camera. So do what you can here. That force is allowing you to potentially build a little bit more bone strength. All right, come to stillness. I always like to give lots of shakes just to keep the blood flowing. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of eye strengthening here. So I'd like you to take your pointer fingers, bring them out in front of you. Maybe you touch your pointer fingers together. And then take one hand and point up towards the sky with that pointer. The other one is going to point down towards the ground. And then bring them back. Opposite hands will do this now. I'm taking the opposite hand up and lowering the other hand down. Okay? So we can just do the arms for now, just kind of remembering this movement. Now you can add some eye strengthening by taking your eyes on the diagonal. We don't do that very often in our day-to-day lives. So we've got our pointer fingers touching. We're going to extend like we did before. We're going to look up towards the one finger and then down towards the other. Everything comes back to center. Opposite hands and arms, opposite thing. Look up and look down. And then bring them back together. Let's add our feet if you want to. If you have room in your chair, we'll take one arm up, opposite arm down. The arm that's down, that foot steps out, and bring everything back. And then do the opposite. This makes you too wobbly in your seat. It is okay to skip the leg part. All right, we'll come to stillness. Let's do just a little bit of stretching before we end our class today. I'd like you to take one leg long and come onto that heel. This is going to be a hamstring stretch. Your hamstrings are in the back of your thigh. You can absolutely hold on to your seat and then pause here and notice. Do you feel anything on the back of your leg? If you do, stay right there. If you don't, fold forward some. Just enough so that you feel a stretch on the back of your leg. All right, we can slowly sit back up if you fold it forward. Now we're going to take that leg. Some of you might just think about doing this. Others, we're going to bend the knee and rest the ankle on the thigh. This is going to look different for everybody. If this is not available for you, that is okay. Just uncross and see if you can bring the bottoms of your feet together and rest the pinky side edges of your feet on the ground. So it's going to look a little bit like this on the ground. We're externally rotating our hip a little bit. Some of you might be like this. Some of you might be wide open. What I'd like you to feel is some sensation in the outer hip. And ideally, we would spend several seconds here, but we'll uncross for now. And if your feet had butterfly feet, go ahead and bring your feet back down to the ground. Take the opposite leg long. Hamstring stretch on side 2. Hold on to your chair, sitting up, or maybe folding forward. Breathing. We'll rise back up. Option here to do those butterfly feet again, or if it's available, cross the other ankle over the opposite leg. I try to avoid my knee, so I try to keep it up here. But again, yours might look very different. And if you rewind this video, you'll see that side 2 for me looks very different than side 1. That's very normal. We're not exactly symmetrical on both sides of our bodies. Breathe. Take your time uncrossing if that's what you had done. If you were in butterfly feet like this, go ahead and put both feet on the ground. Our last movement is going to be some windshield wipering, so I suggest you take your feet as wide as you're able. Hold onto your chair and let your knees drift from side to side. You can do this as long as you'd like. For our class today, we'll come to stillness. We can rest our hands on our thighs. Take a big breath in and let that breath go.